Peirce, as she's been helping coach them for, well, I don't want to say for how long, Paige. I'll let you say that.
About 10 years.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, show my age a little bit now.
And we also have Josh Katzman. That is correct. And we may have a revolving set of people coming through the booth, but just you are watching Arlington versus BC. There was an exciting junior varsity game that just happened with the Spy Ponders taking away the 2-1 victory. So today's teams, Arlington is 7-2-1, second place in the Middlesex League, power ranking of 43. And their last 3 games, they are 2-0-1. BC High has a record of 3-3-3, third place in the Catholic League and a power ranking of 85. And they've won 2 games and tied their last 3. They have a common opponent, who is Lexington. BC High tied Lexington. Arlington was victorious. And a couple of notes from the program, as I mentioned, the JV team won today. Freshman team tied 2-2. And last year, the boys varsity tied 3-3, and the boys junior varsity won 1-0. So those are the numbers, Paige and Josh. What do you think that tells us about today's game?
I think this is a fantastic event. I think, in terms of just looking out here on the bleachers and the crowd that we have here, I do think that also plays into the occasion. Those numbers that you've just given me there, Josh, in terms of goals for and against and recent, score lines for both teams, I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Good connection from Neil and Johnny Peng, and there's some quick offense deep in the zone. Peng crosses it to Corey. We've seen take some real good shots this season. And there's the first shot for Arlington.
Josh, I'd like to say about Paige, not only did she teach our children, the subtleties of this wonderful sport, but thank you so much for teaching us, the coaches of Arlington Soccer Club, as well. We learned a lot from you and your lads, as you like to call them.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the kind words. And I've loved being able to be a part of this community for the past 10 years, and long may that continue.
Indeed, we have goalkeeper is Shea Pilati-Newton, and defense we have Rohan McAuliffe. Trying to work it out here. Nolan Koopman, Alex Burke, and who is the other central defender? That would be, okay. Excellent. great atmosphere here today.
BC High crowd showed up as well. Looks like they've got a decent reputation for this. So Alex, I missed the game on Tuesday. What were the highlights of that game for Arlington?
Well, it was a 1-0 victory, and Sam Neal scored a really nice goal coming out of the scrappy play in the midfield and a good individual effort. It was a decent game. I'd say Arlington had a good amount of the possession of the game and held on in the end. I don't recall much of a threat going the other way, but it was a pretty defensive game, which I gather that this team is comfortable playing in.
That's a 25-yard throw. Good tip by Sam Neal.
Well,
The offside team. It was just a stick. You can see that pass the line.
it's hard to argue with that call.
Yeah, first few minutes in here, it looks like Spy Ponders are trying to have a bit more of possession, playing out the back and counter a little bit. Keegan Maxwell's a little bit isolated up there. You can see he's coming in deep now to try and get on the ball a bit more. Be interesting to see how this plays out in terms of the early tactics.
BC High stuck to their coach before the game. He's saying a lot of these guys, when they played Arlington, exciting game last year to close out the Spy Panther season. Their coach was saying it was that first year. He had a lot of early young players. This is his second year. A lot of the guys who were playing Arlington for 3 years. It was a very exciting game. So two teams that play once a year usually, but know each other very well.
And I had the pleasure of having many of the varsity players, about 4 of them, join me in the booth for the JV broadcast, and they echoed the same sentiment. There is a bit of familiarity here, and also I believe that this BC High team is full of seniors who, there was a very eventful playoff game here 2 years ago in which our seniors, then sophomores, eventually fell to BC High's seniors, then sophomores. So they remember, and they're going into this game with remembrances of that game.
Yep, we have 7 seniors starting for BC High.
Right. As opposed to what's the number for Arlington? It's like 3 or 4 or something like that, right? Yeah. I see 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.
See Grant back in this is the first game I've been able to see him.
Yeah, apparently they've had some attrition on that defensive line with multiple injuries to the same spot. And I think, Josh, they've been playing a 4 back in the last couple of games. I don't know if that's a change from earlier in the year. Yeah.
Looks like Jack Gibbons. Not much of a shaking done with that.
Yeah, well-placed shot from the elbow.
Yeah, I think that might, wake the boys up a little bit here. First few minutes, it seems a little bit tentative on those decisions going forward. Sam Neal seems to have plenty of space. If they can look to switch the point of attack, I think they'll find more success coming down the left side. A couple of times they've tried to go down that right side. Unfortunately, it's not really worked out. But yeah, I mean, an early goal for BC High, but it's a pretty open game here, and hopefully that'll just settle maybe not necessarily a few nerves, but just settle the game down. A bit of possession and try and build the field.
And I did speak with one of the parents was telling me last year's game, wound up in a 3-3 tie, but started off with a 3-0 BC High advantage.
I was at one of the times, and it was
Ten with another similar shot. This one goes wide. So let's circle him as one to watch, coming off that left side, cutting into the right foot, hunting for that upper right corner.
Yeah, I always find this something difficult to get used to in the American soccer, the timeouts. But you know, I think if the coach needs it and it works in their favour, then you know, I'd like to think that this is definitely in the Arlington Spy Panthers' favour right now, just going down one.
This is a specific rule to Massachusetts, right? In high school, yeah, because I don't remember having any timeouts in any other competitions. But they are used here, and in this particular case, I think to good reason, as Coach Iadzio imploring his players to close down on those shooters, and perhaps maybe follow Coach Page's advice.
Yeah. 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 I think with age comes experience. I think as players develop and grow, they also grow into the game. They understand that, you know, it is important to be, you know, tactically, you know, very good. But I think the technical piece comes into it. The tactical piece is important at this age. And how can someone dictate the flow of the game, the speed of the game? You know, like you said, then they're 1-0 down, but who is going to step up here, bring the team back together, and you know, put their work that they do every day in the training field into the game?
Fell awkwardly on his left ankle there.
Yeah, I think a little bit more progression through the thirds here. They seem to be getting the ball with Bear quickly, trying to play centrally and then play out quick. It doesn't seem right now that Neil is on the same page with a couple of the players around him. I think look how high the BC High have their line, you know, up to the halfway line. I think if they can pick the heads up and find that there's space behind, there's some speed on this field, and I think we haven't seen that just yet. So that could be something that they should tap into.
Midfield victory by Quincy there.
Step by Naylor. Looks like we're going to get
To your point, Paige, the game that they played against Reading a couple games ago, they had success with balls over the top, putting the opponent's back line under pressure, making them make a decision. One of them was it resulted in a nice breakaway finished by Sam Neal. Another one resulted in a breakaway which ultimately resolved to a penalty kick, which was dispatched by Arlington.
Yeah, I think you say Johnny Peng, he looks like he's playing more of the 6 role. I think maybe if he can connect a little quicker and find those pockets in between, because they are out there. It's just, getting in the right space at the right time. He might be able to connect quicker balls through to those wide forwards.
From Arlington here. ACMi goalie clears it.
That's going to be a key matchup in this game. Well, Peter and I were here in the booth last game, and Peter brings obviously a wealth of knowledge and experience. And,
Yeah, you've seen this a lot now in youth game, in high school clearly today, and I think playing out from the back, there's got to be a reason, a structure behind that, and it's risk versus reward, and unfortunately the past couple of times we've seen that it's definitely been more of a risk, and I think sometimes you just need to go long and reset, and then you can try it again, but there's a lack of movement in the midfield for that, pass out to the goalkeeper, the centre back, to actually come to anything that I can see from up here.
They've been going long almost exclusively in the last two games that I've watched, to the point where you can almost predict where the ball's going to land on the goal kick.
Yeah, I definitely like to see it. That the football is clear, and it's nice to see that the coach and the players have clearly worked on this, and to try it, a couple of times without success just shows a little bit of determination and grit. So hopefully next time on a goal kick we can see a little bit more progression with a short goal kick.
Spy Ponder's on their heels in this game. Beautiful day here. We had some rain earlier, but right now it's nice, slight breeze. The sun might come into play in the second half as it gets a little lower. The end where Arlington is currently defending, they'll have to be looking back into the sun, so that will be an advantage. Peter almost. See what they do here. They've been playing them short. I'm always interested to see how they change the strategy, if they change the strategy during the game.
Number of subs coming in from ACMi. Got 3 subs coming in right now. Heading out, we have number 25, 10, and 24. So Ethan Pham, one of the seniors, is heading out for ACMi. Their goal scorer, number 10, Jack Higgins, and one other player right now. That's it. We have fresh legs on the offense.
You want to see Sam Neal with the ball further forward, based upon what I've seen
Great hustle
on this team.
Peter Clardy almost saved the ground ball back in just across the middle. And I'd agree with you, Alex, right? The pressure that Sam puts on and the speed and the sort of the tenacity.
He was now that I'm remembering, he was particularly dangerous in the Melrose game, with a number of opportunities and just in general wreaking havoc on the back line of Melrose. Some confusion here, but ref calls the goal kick.
Hands up play for the BC High player. You didn't hear the whistle. It kept going. Could have been a dangerous play.
I'd like to see when possession's now in the midfield, if we can find those right cues to go. Again, there seems a little bit of an unbalance on, when to go, when not to go, and then, if one player goes, it seems a little bit isolated up there on his own. So again, I think it's just a little bit more about being on the same page, trying to find connections between the first and the second pass, and then build forward, not having to go long.
And you can see where the space is around where Sam is standing. So maybe a quick passes around the horn and switch the field. But as Josh mentioned, most of the play seems to be over on that right. Josh, I mean, after observing the team a couple, 3 or 4 games, it seems like that's kind of what their brand is, they play strong defensively, they play, in good formation on the defensive end, and when it comes to the offense, they are looking for moments of individual brilliance to get their goals. They've scored a couple of corner kick goals off of Pete Clardy's header, so it's a good weapon for them. But for the most part, it's the goals have been based upon strong hustle efforts from the forward line, not necessarily from build up from the midfield. Incidental contact there. Ref played advantage.
Good step by Nittler. I've been seeing that from one of your seniors. Seeing him looking for the 50-50 right there. It's definitely good. And now definitely a position where he can take a strike at it.
He shot from there before. Paige, what would you advise here?
Yeah, I mean, I know he can really hit a ball from distance, but with that many players in the box, I'd put it in behind the back line, just like that.
Yep.
Nice to see we're on the same page, me and Jacob Naylor. What I do like though off the ball right now, out of possession, is the discipline. It's not one person's doing one and someone else is doing another. So I think the coaching on that and the discipline behind. It's not always easy staying as a shape and working left to right, but it's definitely.
It came off BC High.
It's a goal kick.
And I think that ball got lost in the sun and bounced in the BC High's favor. So that's something to watch out for in the second half. Looks like he sends Sam up top and resumes Sam's position on the left.
the difference between playing out from the back and playing for the thirds and then having a chance at the end of it. So that was really nice to see. Good patience from a few of the key players in the centre of the field there, and you know, you get your rewards after that. So I'd like to see that again, and yeah.
Quick restart for ACMi. Haven't touched their player in terms of open Arlington. Arlington gets a deep throw in ACMi's end. Looks like we're missing the discipline of our ball boys on the far side. Peter Hedlund, Dennis Connolly, those guys are all-stars. It's tough to beat them as the ball took a while to get over there. Nolan Coogan gets it in deep. Just over Peter's head. Samuel on top of the box. Locks it. Jake Miller settles. Left foot. Strike. Right to the keeper.
Yeah, and it's another attempt, it's another chance, and I think the more that they can apply this pressure, you know, maybe you'll see a difference in terms of turnovers, just like we've seen then. Put a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt into these players' minds, and it can definitely swing the other way, and hopefully Spy Ponders can go and find one before the half-time.
Bit of a mystery call, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I'd like to see Gideon back post run here, just putting it in the back. Alex Burke just floating it in behind, keeping it away from the goalie, but you know, giving us something to go for.
I don't mind this. Stretch them out a little bit, but you can see them staying. No one's going after the keeper. They're staying moderately compact. And in the end, it worked out for Arlington.
Yeah, you can see in the midfield there's a lot of interchange, even then Gideon coming inside. I think that's where there needs to be a little bit more of a relationship with the players around him. Someone needs to rotate out so there's creating that space and depth and the width on the field. Right now it's very tight in the midfield, especially we're playing 5 already. I think the Ponders can do themselves some justice by switching it a little wider.
Some Arlington subs. 14, Nathan Dobro in for Rand Markovsky, and it looks like they're shuffling the defense a little bit to accommodate that. And
Johnny's dropping back, and Dennis Keneally also has a ton of speed.
yes, he willed them a goal against Reading. Sheer will. Good call, Jacob Haddon. I think maybe 17 with some words.
Great challenge, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think he got an owie. And turnabout's fair play. Here we have BC with the opportunity. Similarly, Paige, you look for them to drop this into that little area behind the defense and in front of the goalie.
Yeah, I can see it going right inside that area, but luckily it wasn't executed well.
Johnny Peng with his hands full over there. Little extracurricular activity, maybe?
Looks like that's going to be a battle to keep an eye on. Number 17 for BC High and Jacob Miller. So we got Colin Daly, one of the captains. Sort of battling back and forth with Daly.
Yeah, and so far, a couple of the differences that I've noticed, I think you've mentioned this several times, but, you know, when Arlington are trying to get back, they get back in numbers, and it's fantastic to see, but they're not doing that the other way around. It seems as though, you know, right now they've got the number 9 here, Sam Neal, just quite alone up there trying to hold the ball up until those midfielders join in, but it's going to be a big ask for him to do that against, as we already mentioned, the fantastic back four from BC High.
Right, and Paige, I think that what you're saying is similar to what I was saying there. Arlington getting back in numbers, getting into position, but not necessarily committing the same sort of numbers when they do go forward, and kind of hoping, you know, that the press reveals a mistake, which it just has done. And also, in this system, these forwards do an awful lot of running, and usually I've noticed him subbing out the forwards at a more rapid rate, but keeping the lineup a little more consistent today.
Looks like Grant Markowski's coming in after Peirce. A new strategy that I've seen coach Peirce use is some of the back lines for consistency. I think especially
Great strength on the ball there, and now we can see we've got at least 2 players in the box. If that ball can make its way in there.
Yep, and that secondary.
just outside the box. Looks like
Paige, I'd like to see that secondary line come up a little bit more, because they had their numbers forward and then kept the 4 back with the holding midfield, and there was even another guy, so 5 players were staying on the defense. I'd like to see one of them kind of leak forward into that space.
Yeah, and it's time to that movement, the right time to you know, get there. But yeah, right now Arlington Spike ponders the numbers down in transition.
the kick goes far off the head of that one. BC High defender. Looks like Corbin scoops it up. This will be another nice mini corner kick type situation here to Quincy's head. Quincy's head just off balance.
Yeah. Hard to get power on the ball from a throw-in too. You don't have the velocity of the ball.
And again, we can see their numbers back were fantastic, and ball recovery speed was brilliant. There are a couple of these unforced errors though that, you know, hopefully don't fall BC High's way too often, but we can see here they've maintained possession.
Altogether, I like what I'm seeing, the response from Arlington after conceding. A little frustrated there. And my suspicion was confirmed as I had Aiden Conley and Peter Cloherty in the booth here for the JV game. My suspicion that this field is particularly fast. They agreed with that. Very fast and also necessarily crowned so that the rain can run off. But the ball will run here, so those through balls, you almost need to take a little bit off of them, or else they'll just run out. Little forearm shiver on the sweeper there.
Andres is a talented wrestler as well. He's a physical player. Not afraid to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think this will change the dynamic slightly just with his sheer size and strength. I think his hold-up play might be just a little bit more disciplined than maybe someone like Neil. But I'd like to see him hopefully connect facing back to goal, connect with his midfielders. He's got 3 of them when he does face that way, so hopefully that connection works out and then they can build through the thirds. I know I keep saying this and I probably sound like a broken record right now, but it's starting to be a little bit obvious of what they're trying to do, and quite honestly BC High are probably comfortable with this situation right now.
Also, the incoming was Andres, he's present for Nick. Also, I think Page is someone in that middle third as they move to sort of look for guys on wide and see if he can set something up wide as well. So it'll be interesting to see between them how it does change.
Yeah. When Fernando was younger, I used to call him Mini Messi, so hopefully he can put that on show today. I think he picks up them areas really intelligently. He's very good with the ball at his feet, and I think right now if he can find the time on the ball, perhaps here, he can link up well with his cousin, as you mentioned.
Always love to mention that they're the dynamic family Tenoch and Lafayette, incredible restaurants. If you're in Arlington doing burritos, head on down to Lafayette on Medford.
Second that.
Third.
Universal. All 8 whistles.
A little bit of a clash on the side there.
I'm not sure that's gone the right way.
And also the ball, see, look at the goalie shielding his eyes. The ball going right directly from the sun. So this is a dangerous. Yeah, nice play by the. BC high defender made a really nice step there. It looked like Arlington had something going, and it was just diffused with one step.
Yeah, Rowan's been kept very busy this half, and I think he's done his position very proud. They seem to be going down this right side more often than not, and he's kept them quiet.
Yeah, he won the header in that last scrum too, which normally you would associate tall players. Here come the numbers again.
I think there's a balance between can we get forward as quickly as possible versus, okay, maybe we have to reset, getting forward as quickly as possible in a transitional moment like that. There's going to be more space in behind, but there has to be more quality on the ball, and right now we're not quite seeing that combination. So hopefully when half-time comes in about 4.5 minutes, that'll be the message at half-time. Can we just relax a little bit on the ball? Can we play the way we're facing? If we can go forward, great, let's do it with numbers, and if we can't, let's reset and start again.
Gets it in, and great volley by Andres that just sails wide. Almost as exciting that player to see all the youth soccer players coming down to the field from the stands. We get to see them right in front of the field here. For the future of Arlington soccer, these will be the kids who win.
The present of Arlington soccer.
The present of Arlington soccer and the future of Arlington High School varsity soccer. Really fun to see them get involved. Again, a program that you made a really critical part of.
Yeah, Yeah, no, it's great to see our first and second grade players here, all excited, ready to go on the field at half time. You know, these players we're watching here are definitely role models for the younger generation.
And what is crazy is I remember when my son was a freshman in college, first, second grade. Now he's off to college. So it's a real special moment. Right, BC High trying to make something happen in the last 3 minutes of the half. Great ball to Neal. With a solid touch, can he get it in?
So this is what I mean with the following up.
Holds on to it, drops
Okay.
it back to Dobro.
Yeah, and I don't mind this. They tried to go forward. Neil did a fantastic job maintaining possession, the high pressure, and they can possess the ball now and try and go forward. With numbers up. Nice little ball
Beautifully
over the
chipped
top.
ball.
Pressure in the last 2.5 minutes from Arlington now. See if they can get an equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, it's positive. Yeah, okay, it didn't come to an opportunity, it didn't come to a shot on target, but it is definitely positive to see that now. There looks to be a little bit more thought behind decisions.
Good, solid play from the BC High attack. From their goal scorer. Here's the counter.
Nice touch there.
Flaherty needs to find that space in behind, maybe not come so short. I think that's the you know, the counter of Rohan being able to drive forward and needing that option, you know, in behind the back line versus, you know, 5 yards away from him.
The universal arm wave.
Right. And here we want it in behind. Love that.
Great ball by Fernando DeCourty. Gets it into the middle.
It hit his hand. Well, Paige, you called it.
Yeah, I think there's been 4 occasions where they've had something come from a chance, whether it's a shot on target, a shot off target, but trying to connect the fullbacks with the wide midfielders, playing a 5 through the middle here. There has to be that connection between the understanding of when to go long, playing behind versus playing to feet. And I think the most successful plays have come from the ball in behind, and it was a fantastic one then.
It'll be about 45 seconds to go. So still time for something in that real quick. David on the near touch. He's been helping Arlington soccer for years on the touch line of the balls. Gets that ball in quick.
And speaking of timeouts, we've seen coaches call timeouts in this kind of scenario where they can, like, quote unquote, draw up a play. They know there's limited time on the clock.
Late substitution, maybe looking for that last
Look at them all looking back into the sun. They could have called a timeout there and made sure they got a playoff. So
1-0 BC High at the end of the first half. What's your take? If you're on the sideline with Coach Yazzie, what would you tell the team?
I think how they finish that final attack is how they need to start the second half. They need to have that confidence building through the thirds and then trying to play that final back pass in behind BC High's back line. That's where they're causing the most trouble. I think defensively they're doing a fantastic job, but they have to commit more numbers forward and they have to try and be a little bit more creative in the wide areas, because that's where the success is coming from.
And Alex, I was going to ask you, into the booth right now. I don't know if we can get the camera to turn around a little bit. Walking into the booth right now, we have some incredible all-stars here. It's unbelievable the achievement at the end of all of these players. So we have here Rowan Egan, last year's boys varsity captain. We have Luke Burrington, also a captain, injured.
Please visit our snack shack raising money for the Arlington Soccer Club boosters over to by the entrance.
See how it is.
Pizza, snacks,
So, Ella, Gaspar,
water.
and Rowan, you are all back from college. I think Rowan and Gaspar, you two at Tufts and BC High came back in Arlington. Once to see your brother. All right. How's and so how is the how for all of you? And we'll pass the headphones around. What give us a highlight of college and your take on the game.
A highlight for college for me is I'm playing club soccer at Tufts University. The level there has been really good, and all the guys have been great. A takeaway from the game so far is the team needs to possess like they did in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Through that, I think they can create some chances through their open play, and then get some good chances. Like Tody had the last chance he had was really good, and his volley was a really good chance. So they're going to get more chances as they keep possession and keep calm, and keep the ball,
All right. Passing on down to Luke Arlington. Luke, the Bowdoin Bear.
Oh yeah. Highlight of Bowdoin so far is probably the lobster bake. Being up in the coast of Maine, we get a lot of lobsters, which has been sick to eat. I would say club soccer too. Like Rowan, we've been playing a lot. It's honestly similar level to this high school, maybe a little bit lower, honestly. Just older people. These guys are all in shape compared to us, but it's been wicked fun so far. Takeaway for the game, I would say if these boys keep that intensity up in the second half and come off to a hot start, I think we can put one in early. We had a few good chances at the end there, so I look forward to watching the second half of gameplay.
All right, and as we transition, Ella, I'll ask you. You're down in the College of Charleston. You got to come into the frame here. Flew back for your father's 50th birthday, a surprise for your family. I will say it was difficult for me knowing the last couple weeks you were going back to keep that a secret from mom and dad. But highlight for you of College of Charleston.
I think the weather is my highlight. It's so warm and nice.
I think we got to talk to all your teachers at AHS if lobster and the weather are your highlights of college. I'm just kidding. We know you have great teachers there. And how about this game? So I know your brother's injured, one of the captains this season. He hasn't been able to play. But what's your take on the game so far?
I think they're doing really good. They're doing good passing, a lot of through balls, which I feel like they couldn't really connect last year, so it's looking good.
Hey, what was that supposed to mean?
Ed, can you give us an update, the insider update? When is Captain Aiden Connolly going to be back on the field, do you think?
I know he's starting to run this week, so in the next few weeks maybe.
All positive stuff. And then Gaspard, a little bit of a mixed emotion here. We're playing BC High. You are now BC Boston College. So Luke's shaking his head there. But what's the highlight of BC for you this season?
So far, probably, I joined the club rugby team, so we've been traveling quite a lot. It's been really fun. And I'll be joining club soccer this spring, hopefully. So, yeah, that's been pretty good.
And what's your take on the game so far? That was a killer shot that BC High had early in the game. You might have been able to get it last season, Gaspard.
Nah, honestly, I don't think so. That's not on Shea. That was just a perfect shot. Nothing you can do about that. But about us, I'd say we'll just keep going forward. Take your chances. Toti had a beautiful volley. A couple other players had great shots on goal. So just keep that coming, and yeah, keep going.
Also, I think Gaspard, it's I don't know if these guys know, but another one of the captains, Abe Donnelly, is down at Rutgers right now, studying very hard. I know Abe will be studying hard. However, the audience might be interested to know, Gaspard, one of your professors has a connection to Abe. Do you want to explain that?
Yes, so I'm currently taking a Perspectives on Western Culture class with Abe's dad, Jason Donnelly. Honestly, best class ever. I'm not even to be nice, but every time I talk to other people who take this class, they're like, oh, it's boring. I don't know. We have a 2.5-hour discussion every Wednesday, but Jason cuts it to an hour and 15 minutes. So that's huge. But even then, just like we learn a lot. Like he's great at like facilitating discussions and stuff like that, and all the students love him. So it's really
And
awesome.
Jason has been running the sideline last year. We missed him running the sideline this year. So we'll pass it around to Ella. You got to stay on track, Ella. Your favorite class so far, your favorite academic at college?
I'm taking medical humanities, which is really interesting. It's a new thing that's been started recently.
All right, and I guess the other thing I'm going to ask all of you is you all were on this field last fall. You were all stellar students at AHS. We've got a lot of seniors on this too, so we'll pass the mic around one more time, and so hopefully all the seniors will watch your halftime interview. What is your advice for the guys on the field and for the girls in the next game coming up? The girls' game's coming up next. For the seniors, what is your advice about senior year at AHS? Now that you're a couple months into college now, thinking back to this time last year, anything you would have done differently as a senior? Anything you think they really should just sort of embrace as their senior year? Ella, you can start us off.
I would say just really enjoy it and don't worry too much about college. It'll work itself out. Just enjoy senior year.
Medical community. All right, Gaspar, what's your take?
Yeah, well, as I'll just say, it might like feel a little generic, but just enjoy your time. You know, like my first game for club rugby, like it's not the same energy in the stands. Like, you know, it's not a whole town like behind you, like supporting you and stuff like that. And it's one of the only moments in your life when you're actually gonna have that. So just like take it all in, have fun, spend time with your friends. Because yeah, as Ella said, like college is stressful because you know it's a big part of your senior year, but it's gonna work out in the end.
And Rowan, we'll go to you. I know you are studying medical medicine, not just medical humanities. So what's your take on this? Not just medical humanities.
On the game or on the future.
On the future.
Okay.
So the takeaway.
The main takeaway I would give to the guys, the seniors, would be to not stress. Obviously, enjoy it, but just work hard. Like everything has a purpose. Everything will work out how it should, and it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be stressed, but just enjoy every moment. Again, like similar to what like Gaspard and Ella were saying, like this is the time like you're gonna be surrounded by a great community, and so just take it all in. Don't get too stressed and work hard, and everything will work out.
Luke, what words of advice do we have from Luke Currington?
I mean, these guys covered it pretty well. I feel like they understand like this is like your time, like the high school senior year. That was some of like I have so many memories from here. So just live in the moment, but make sure to not procrastinate. I would say really get your stuff done, and then you could go home and celebrate, and it's just live in the moment and enjoy it. But yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you. As one thing I'm going to say, I'm a little disappointed in. I saw him in the stands very briefly. Gaspard, your classmate, Samaritan Ferguson. We're going to call Sem out. Sem did not make it up to the booth. Would have loved to hear his perspective on BC. But it's really exciting to see all of you guys back here. And you know, it's I know as a parent myself of one of you guys, it's
Cooper.
yeah, we'll say out there to Cooper and see you, or Charleston sometimes. You know, we miss you guys, but it's really fun to hear about that, like all the good stuff you guys all do. So we're all very proud of you, and so thank you all for coming up. It's really good to see all of you, and try to get some up here for the game.
We got you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
right off, they sent the ball up into the air, and the BC defender lost it. So this is a definite advantage for Arlington. Sam's got 5 guys around him.
Celebration.
That was a bullet.
Arlington goal, number 10, Jacob Naylor.
Another perfect start, and hopefully now we can progress and see a little bit more of that attacking minded from the get-go. We've seen that they were getting up there nice and early. That throw-in is like Rory Delap. If anyone is an old-school Premier League fan, Rory Delap had a throw that was like a corner. I think that was pretty much the same. So fantastic goal. Great composure by Jacob Naylor there to take that down, I think, off his chest, and first time volley. There was no chance the goalkeeper was saving that.
Get a front row view of the action is number 10 here on the left wing. I think that was off Sam. I don't recall. Closed down nicely by Keegan. Well, I don't know what coach said at halftime, but it sure seemed to fire up these boys.
Yeah, great defender from Koopman, just read the player in front of him really well.
Again, Alex, like you were saying early in the first half, I think the sun is going to play a factor in this game as well.
I mean, you can just see by the people shading their eyes on the sideline. Well, if he's not a football player, maybe he should be one. A little miscommunication there between the two defenders. Took a hit there from the BC High attacker. Big physical front line. Yeah, I think they're. Good scrappy play on the side.
This is where can they find the switch now? If Sam Neill can really get on his bike here and exploit that left back. Doesn't quite come off, but it's still open here.
Beautifully taken by Quincy. He's got a follower with Peter.
Bounce.
3 points.
Yeah, I think anyone at that point the ball drops to you there, you're going to take a shot no matter what. But, you know, it's got to be pretty special to hit the back of the net.
There's a definite change in momentum in this half. The BC High back line not as sure as they appeared to be in the first half. Piece of space there for Keegan. Gets around too.
Lovely ball.
Quincy was there.
Yeah, Quincy seems to be everywhere today.
Like to see that entry from Sam. Typically see him sort of hold on a little bit. That's good. That's going to set him up to defenders are going to have to play him differently.
Yeah, Sam Neill's versatile for sure. He definitely likes to get his head down and run them defenders and you know, make them make a decision. But that was a good decision there from him, an early ball into the box and, you know, an opportunity in front of goal.
BC High across.
Really nice play by BC High there, I've got to admit. Quick strike.
BC High goal by number 25, Kristen White.
And you see the big kick again. Switch.
Using that speed, moves it up, gets it in the middle. Good touch, good possession. Broken by BC High. And here they go. Going just inside the BC High half. Ron drops it in, broken up, and they'll do it again. BC High coach telling his players, slow down, slow down. The universal, both hands down towards the ground. Sam Neill, here he goes, dropping his head, takes the shot along by BC High. Picked up by Keegan Maxwell. They got a deep run, immediately running up there and take this. This is how hard they got the first goal. See if they can get some.
In spite of that goal, which was really an excellent team move by BC High, This half has belonged to the Spy Pongers.
Yeah, it's a good tool to have with a throw like that. You can commit numbers forward, and 9 times out of 10 it looks like it does come to some sort of opportunity in front of the goal there. So I'm sure we'll be seeing that a couple more times before the game's out today.
They've got their own deep throw and straight to Shea. Good play from Shea there to keep the ball.
Good shot on the BC High goal, nice and low. Kind of, it was close to the keeper, but kind of in that dead zone, nice and low into the side.
If you were to take the throw in, no, unless someone touches it and it goes in.
If it didn't touch Shea, that would have been.
Yes.
I couldn't, with a big throw like that, I couldn't just chuck it into it.
Not on this game, no.
Olympic handball.
Yeah, potentially. Who knows?
High lie maybe.
Good step by Johnny Payne for pressure right there. And again, like we that second goal, he scores their first and makes their second. And that ball is across the field.
Nicely shielded by Rohan.
Center back to center back right there. Defense by Johnny Payne here. I think one of the things that has impressed me with this team is late in the game, once you get to that 10 below 10 minute time, a lot of teams seem to rush and feel the pressure. This team this year is not, they very patient and so it gives me a lot of confidence as we go sort of deeper into the second half. They tend to keep their composure, ready to control, to start putting the ball on your set. Again, this is obviously sacrifice.
Yeah, still plenty of time left in this game. Arlington showing up really well in the second half, and unfortunate to concede, but it's still anybody's game. This
Yeah, I
time.
think we're going to see at least one, if not two more goals.
Once he rises up for that.
Here's that like-for-like sub now.
Andres is one of the few players on this team I've had the pleasure of coaching. He's been in the weight room since I last saw him.
The boys' freshman coach, Coach Cummings, the wrestling coach at Arlington High, has had something to do with that for Andres as well.
I think here in these types of situations, when Neil's on the ball, again, we spoke about him a lot this game because he's very much involved, but I do think there's definite opportunities to play it centrally into someone like Jacob Naylor or one of the other centre mids and switch that point of attack. Cloherty has not been involved too much in the game so far, and I think if we can try and mix it up a little bit, playing on the left side, we could see a little bit more opportunity and just a different style of player in that wide area.
You're proving to be a bit of a predictor up here in the booth.
Don't ask me to predict the score though. I might lose some fans.
Medford.
Yeah. At least.
I'll put it up tonight. Yeah, plan B is always. I was first trying to record it on the recorder, but like, no, if I have it there, at least I have it.
What I will say is I think number 27, Sebi, for BC High, as impactful and as tricky and skillful Neil is, he's actually kept him pretty quiet. So as a coach, maybe what I'd like to see is Cloherty and Neil swap sides. It looks like number 13 there for BC High might not be as quick. We've seen him in a couple of 1v1 duels where Cloherty's got the better of him. But I think if we can just maybe, put something different in their right and left backs' minds, it could cause a little bit of doubt, a bit of concern, and perhaps we could go on and find another opportunity.
He was looking for him all the way, and just a little too much on that, a little too much mustard on that pass.
Yeah, and I think he could disguise that pass. He's good enough to cut inside and take that shot. We know he's got that in him. I think, sometimes when you try and force something and you want something to happen, that's what unfortunately does happen, is that pass is overplayed, a little bit too much power on that for Neil to keep that in play. But this is a positive spell here for Arlington. They're maintaining possession, keeping BC High pretty quiet, although they do look dangerous in attack.
And you do have to give them credit for finishing the opportunity that they did have.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's the goals that matter, and right now they've been able to finish their chances. So hopefully the Spy Pandas get a couple more opportunities before the game's out here. There's still 22 minutes left on the clock. But you don't want to go down 3-1. I think that will be a bit of an uphill battle.
Dangerous. This could be trouble for BC High. Handled nicely.
Yeah, but if Andres is going to keep pressing like this, the midfield needs to join in, because he's just going to run out of legs, and next thing we know, he's going to be getting subbed off again. So I think this is where there just needs to be that little bit of connectivity between the players. If they press, or do they stay in a mid-block, a low block, what that might be. And I think that information is probably coming from the sidelines. We do see that at times happening. But yeah, just a little bit more composure, and the decision-making needs to be a little bit more finite. Yeah, I like what I've seen so far from Sebi. I think he's clearly got a good understanding of his role today. He's pretty quick, but he seems pretty competent on and off the ball. So yeah, he's given us a little hard time and keeping Sam Neal quiet.
Nice clean play by Jacob Naylor, a win in the midfield, sending the ball forward. We're taking Peter Clarity out for Gideon Lawrence.
What a ball. Goal. Come on.
Straight from your lips, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's clear to see sometimes when there's so much talent as Sam Neal and the front three there just needs to be a little bit of change up. You know, we see Gideon come on, we know what his quality is. His first touch, I think, or maybe his second touch on the ball, what a great delivery. And Sam Neal's there back post to finish it off.
Well finished. That ball could have easily
Arlington
sailed over
goal
the
by
net.
number 15, Sam Neal.
See the long send here causing chaos. Again, Paige, he's on his own there, though. It'd be nice if he'd had a little more support.
Yeah, I wonder what the coach is thinking here. Obviously a 2-2 with about 20 minutes left. I'm sure they're going to want to go for it, but you know, a lot of times when you do score, you are vulnerable to maybe concede. So perhaps they're just trying to, you know, sit in a little bit, try and find that little bit of a moment to breathe, you know, reset, reconnect, and then they can maybe commit more players forward in those transitional moments. But I know we're speaking a lot about Neil here, but I had the pleasure of coaching his sister for a couple of years, Sophia Neal, and she was just as talented, so definitely from the family.
You could refer to him as friend of the broadcast, Sam Neal.
Right.
As he was in here for the part of the JV game.
Love that.
Paige on the telestrator here in the booth.
I know,
we should
I need
give
to
you
stand with my
dry
hands in the
erase
pockets.
markers.
X's and O's, or do you want circles and squares?
Oh, triangles and circles, that'll do me. Yeah, no, I love that run, that overlapping run. Obviously, you know, Sam Neal was inside. Johnny had the space to exploit in this wide area. The ball just didn't quite make it there, but the intention was behind it. Was fantastic.
Paige, to your previous observation, BC High has gone ahead and moved number 10 over to the right.
And Jack Gibbons has been involved in both of their goals, trying to make something happen here, putting a lot of pressure on the Arlington backs. And ball right there.
Yep, found by the ref.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach as well, you just need to look at it. You've got a game plan before you've gone into the game. Sometimes it's going to plan, sometimes you have to make these changes. We've seen that both coaches have made a couple of tactical changes. I think we're probably going to see one or two more in the last 15 minutes here. But those win games, so it's who can recognise where perhaps the weakness is. Not necessarily saying that these players aren't all of a high quality, but there's always going to be something that you can go in and sort of make your own, and hopefully we get to see that. I think so far we know that these wide areas on the counter, when BC High are getting their line nice and high to the halfway line, like we can see now, the pace of Neil, the pace of Johnny, you know, now Gideon's on the opposite side, the power and the physicality in the 9 position. I think we're going to probably see a couple more chances building out wide and that final ball into the middle, perhaps on the edge of the box, or something that will test the goalkeeper close range.
Here you see Andreas going off, Peter Cloherty moving over to the right per your suggestion page, and Sam Neal to the middle. So. Good effort. Yeah, closer to where it actually went out.
I think between Fernando and Jacob Naylor here, if they can sort of have a bit of a, if they can be on the same page and find those pockets, there's so much space out wide for Gideon, who we know can travel with the ball at speed, and then you've got numbers in the box. And here we go now. Yeah, cut in front. He wants him to run in front of that left back, and that's the ball. It was a fantastic ball. Again, just not on the same page, but I'm sure we're going to see that again.
Dangerous.
And that's why I call him Mini Messi. You could not get the ball. His size, his low gravity, he's very, very good. Running with the ball at speed, and typically if you're going to try and win the ball, he's going to find a foul.
And this is right into the sun.
We know Jacob's got a great delivery.
Arlington striding back into position.
Great touch, good strength as well. That's a foul.
Yeah. Number 6 not understanding what he did wrong, and the ref was about to tell him. And one of the barometers I use, Josh, is the fans. There are no fans yelling at the ref. That's pretty good. Kind of a play without a purpose there. I didn't see, it was an in-between. I'm not sure if he was going for the shot or the chip or the pass.
Yeah, I think he was trying to look for the ball slightly in behind Nolan Koopman, and I just don't think they quite landed on the same page on that one. But it was a good idea.
Well, let's reset here for. Well, folks, it's 2-2 and a beautiful day. We've got 11 minutes left in this battle. Great game. he's going to call that on Peter. He did the swim move there, the freestyle swim move over the top. And Peter also lost his shin guard, not for the first time today. He ran so fast he ran out of his shin guard.
And they're applauding that first touch, whoever that was. Yeah, when they do that into the midfield, that is the cue, that's the moment where those, central players should be making varied runs into the box, because now, obviously with, Johnny joining into that midfield, they're there at 6, so I think they can take a little bit more risk and be a little bit more creative with varied runs. Right now, if you notice, when Arlington are in possession, they're going forward, most of the runs are straight, and there's not much variance between them, so I think that could be something that they should look at in the next 9 minutes or so here to try and create some more chances.
Potentially building something here. Arlington will all their players back for this. Dante King changes, and a nice fake by Nolan Koopman right before the inside.
Yeah, nice dummy.
Gideon right here, so you got 3 Arlington guys up ahead. Sammy is onside.
Yeah, I mean this in the most respectful way, but it seems a little desperate right now, and I think, Arlington Spike Ponders seem to be in control, so I think they just need to allow the players to get back into position after defending as a unit with every player behind the ball, like you mentioned there, and then give themselves the best opportunity to play forward with numbers up in those situations.
So, Coach Page, as a coach, how in game, how do you communicate that to your team?
Well,
DC High takes a strike,
yeah, I think it's twofold. I think, you work on that in training, you work on those situations, you give the players the best opportunity to be prepared for this game and these moments. But yeah, of course, there's communication to players on perhaps, settle down, let's reset, let's get our, positions back, and then we can try and work on how we want to play. Obviously then we've seen a ball go to Gideon. It was a great ball over the top, but, Neil is going to have to do a lot to beat 5 players back there. So I think it is just this connectivity between the 2 6s who are staying a little bit deeper. Right now it's Jacob Naylor and DeBro, and how can they get on the ball? They need to be on the ball centrally, then to find those balls forward and into space behind, because that's where the chances are coming from for the Spy Ponders.
That'll be, yeah.
If there could just be a ball played centrally, we've got, again, 3 fantastic central midfield there, then they can build through the middle, switch it out to Cloherty, and then you can maybe find that final ball through to Neil. Good composure back there from Randy. He's had a great game today.
Rohan McCall with a nice cover there, made it difficult for the DC High player to get anything on it.
Yeah, he's not put a foot wrong today, and as I say, he's been busy. Not as busy this half, which I'm sure he'll be thankful for, but anything he's had to do, he's done it really, really well.
And I do see the back line has stabilized with Rand, Nolan Koopman, Rohan McAuliffe, and Johnny Peng.
Just connect.
So a couple players, again, I don't watch all the varsity games, but I've been particularly impressed with Fernando today and Gideon Lawrence, and also Andreas. A couple players I'd like to call out. I mean, you expect a certain degree from players such as Sam Neal. But those three have been particularly impressive. It's been a good game. So we're reaching the 5-minute mark where the clock will stay stuck at 5, but the time being kept on the field by the refs. I'll also keep it here with my handy dandy stopwatch.
And you can see now the pocket of space which is available and left open there by Fernando, and he's wanting the ball, and I think just trust him with the ball, trust that if you give him the ball, he will likely find the final pass that will give us an opportunity to go and have a chance on goal. But we can see now he's coming off, he's had a great game every time he stepped on the field, so good job to him.
Good job. Nathan Dobro has impressed me today too. I mean, these are just players I haven't seen a lot of in the games that I've watched, and they've all stepped in and played wonderfully.
Yeah, this is a very talented group of players, and I think today they've shown that, whether they've been on the field for the entire time or they've come on and made an impact.
Composed play by the Arlington back line.
I'd like to see one of the sixes here to just get on the ball, whether it's Jacob or DeBro. They just go and find that.
Yeah,
that
they were
pass.
both standing there marked. Page, they bypassed the sixes and went right to the, what was that, 8?
Yeah,
I don't have the numbers down, but
yeah, no, I mean, like
6 and then.
Yeah, the 8 just slightly above, and in terms of the positions of the numbers, not necessarily the ones on the jerseys there, but right now they're non-existent. When your 2 flat sixes are being man-marked like that, you're never going to have your centre-backs finding them. So essentially, we're now 4 players down from the field because none of them are available. Luckily, I think that was a great run again by Johnny, who got in wide areas, but he got out-muscled, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd just like to see a little bit more one from them sixes because it's such a pivotal role on the field.
Yeah, no, it was a little soft, but Jacob did have his arm around him. I'll co-sign on that call for the ref. I don't want to, but I will. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Mine too. This is an absolutely crucial moment in this game.
Yeah, I'd keep your eye on Tristan White, number 25. If I was taking this free kick right now, 27, Sebi, I would be putting it just behind, and we've got a pretty high line here, so the keeper also needs to be aware and come out if needed.
Keeper setting a wall, which I think they would welcome a shot from this distance. Right off 25 and to a BC High player's foot.
Clarity, keep going, take the space, come on. They just need to keep the ball moving right now.
Got a minute and a half left in this game, Josh.
think both teams would be happy with a draw here.
Here's number 16 all day in the back.
And that's a dive. That's a dive.
Refs said, no, you had already touched it out. I think
Do they?
from the perimeter, he kicked it out and then sort of.
And not much argument from the BC High side. But that was a clear case of, what do they call it, simulation?
Under a minute to play here. We'll see if the refs call for that at all. Here we go.
This could be the chance.
You've got to commit your numbers forward then. Let's go.
Nice play. Jack Gibbons not happy, kicked the ball away, should get booked here.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that the furthest referee gave that foul. The closest one didn't really seem to be interested in it, but good eyesight.
Well, according to my clock, we have 10 seconds left. So the ref, remember, the ref called the game on a dead ball before. So they'd be well served to get it in, which they did. This should be the game. There we go.
Yeah, I think I said it just before the final whistle there. You'd be happy with a draw being, both teams. I think we could see that there was a large portion of the first half where BC High did dominate possession and really showed their worth, but obviously something positive was said at half-time and the Spy Panthers come out and showed their worth as well, and hence the 2-2 scoreline. So I think overall very entertaining game. Really good to see that quality of players here in Arlington, and both from BC High, but I think as a coach and as a commentator today, I think 2-2 is a pretty even result for such a performance.
No, Paige stole all my thunder.
Paige steals all of our thunder when it comes to knowing about soccer. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a pleasure to be up here.
We just want to thank ACMi, the whole crew, Caro, Alex, thank you.
Thanks, guys.